G'day world, Chris Hogan coming to you live from Rise Conference. Thanks to our partners Invest HK and Start Me Up HK. And I'm here with Hadyah Fathalla from Startup Bahrain, but Exec Director of C5 Accelerate. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. So I had a bit of trouble with the pronunciation, so we won't go there. Tell me about C5 Accelerate.
So C5 Accelerate, we're a UK-based company with offices in both Bahrain and in Washington, DC. And we built our first sort of flagship accelerator out of Bahrain called Cloud 10. And what we do is we really help young tech and tech-enabled companies scale by using the power of Amazon's cloud. And we've built it in partnership with the Economic Development Board and Temkeen, the Labour Fund in Bahrain.
Okay, that's pretty full on. All right, and you also have a Women in Tech program, is that correct?
We do. So last year, AWS announced that it is going to build its first data regions in the Middle East and North Africa, and it's going to happen in Bahrain. So they had their first MENA summit, and we thought it would be a good time to kind of jump on that as well and kind of enable women as well as this great expansion is happening with AWS. So we created an initiative with the support of AWS called Nebula, and it's really to help women who aspire to become, leaders in the tech space or want to build in the tech space, but don't feel like they have the support to do so.
Okay, and do you think what do you believe the shortage, in women in tech is due to? Is it just sheer interest? They're not interested, or is it because it's too overcrowded with men?
So it's a tricky one, and I want to tell you, I'm a bit careful when it comes to women's initiatives, because this is not a feminist initiative. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is there's not.
It sounds like Seinfeld.
But there's not. But this is an initiative that says, look, apparently 70% of STEM graduates are women, but that's not translating in the workplace, and especially not in leadership positions. Now, we don't know, and part of why we created this initiative was to actually do some R&D and research to say, we actually want to know what's happening, and we want to help bridge that gap. But also we want to say, look, we don't know why it's happening. We don't know why there are not enough women, but we want to create opportunities and spaces and some support, whether it's providing cloud credits or providing mentorship, to allow women to come into this space if they don't feel like they have the support. So I'm not 100% sure why there is that gap, but the gap exists. But I'd be able to tell you maybe in a few years, since we've just launched, because we hope to actually be able to answer some of these questions, because we often talk about the disparity, but we're not 100% sure how to actually deal with it.
That's true. And for all of you out there that I guess aren't being inclusive enough and supportive enough, step up, guys.
Step up and step up, guys, as well, because what we're doing is.
I said guys.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did, because a huge part of what we're doing is we're actually engaging men, right? Because we don't think this is something that you can do on your own, and it should never be just a one gender issue. It should be a partnership. So we've got part of the initiative is a role models and allies program that includes both men and women, and maybe we can invite you to be a role model and ally. It's a global network.
Absolutely. I have 3 daughters.
Awesome.
They're all equal opportunity in my eyes, and it was interesting. While I was here in Hong Kong, someone actually said to me, "Oh, you must wish you had a son." I said,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me. I love them equally, and I support them in basically combating this world that's I guess dominated by men. Hence, I teach them martial arts. So,
Awesome.
So watch out, boys. Yeah.
Watch out.
Cool. And so Bahrain, it sounds like a fantastic place. We were talking yesterday with your representative here, and what an amazing place to, I guess, live and work. It's got beach and sunshine and the tax system's very.
It's a great place. I mean, I'm biased because I am Bahraini, but it provides really an awesome, and that's the whole idea of Startup Bahrain. It's a community-driven initiative that is partly government, partly the accelerators and incubators and different stakeholders, but also anyone who's interested in this entrepreneurship space. And Bahrain has a lot to offer because there's 100% ownership if you're a foreigner. There's great government subsidies. If you set up a company in Bahrain, it automatically becomes a local company, and the government is super supportive. But there's also there's a great dynamic. It's a tiny country. It's an island, So there's that island feel, and people are chilled. But there's also great integration between the international community and the local community. And there's a great cross-pollination between the expertise and experiences. So, I mean, our accelerator has brought in a lot of international companies, and they've loved the growth story out of the island. It's a great launch pad into the Gulf region and into countries that are in the MENA region like Jordan and Egypt and even Lebanon. So it's a great place to do business.
And what do you say to the women in the world that are thinking of moving, I guess, to a place like Bahrain and potentially may be concerned about the cultural fit there, because the UAE and whatnot hasn't always been that supportive of the free rights of women. Bahrain different in that respect?
I think Bahrain and the UAE, are different. I think there are great misconceptions about the Middle East in general and about women's empowerment. But we've been lucky in Bahrain, where women's empowerment and women have made strides, from the 60s and 70s. I used to play basketball, and there was a women's basketball team in the 70s. My grandmother is educated, my mother is educated, and I think today actually there's great opportunities for both men and women in Bahrain. And I don't necessarily, again, the gender disparity issue is a global one. So we suffer from it like the West does. But I don't necessarily feel like there are limitations as a woman in the country. Not social, not economic, and certainly not professional. So for those people who are concerned about not living the fullest life as a woman in the Middle East, I'd say, that's not something that they should worry about at all.
Fantastic, and I'm glad you put that message out there. I really appreciate that, Hadyah. So thanks very much for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And how do thanks. I'll shake your hand. Beautiful.
Hand. Yeah. You can do that too.
How do people stay abreast of what C5 Accelerate are up to?
So you can find us at C5 Accelerate on Instagram, on Facebook, or even just visit our website.
Beautiful.
We'd love to hear more from you, and we'd love to invite you to join our Cloud 10 program if you're a young tech or tech-enabled startup.
Excellent. Keep watching on facebook.com/Beach City Life. We're on YouTube and LinkedIn. You search for Beach City.
Thank you.